the Patriots fans. Sure does feel like the Niners are Mike's in the Bay, winky face. Come on now. We know what you're getting at there. I threw out my thoughts on his statement about, Levi Stadium and the environment. He wasn't directly taking a shot, but we know what he was insinuating there. You'd have to be silly to think he wasn't. And I guess he could get away with it if he just, he got away with it, but I guess I feel a little bit better about it if we just got a little bit of a statement. And maybe one's coming, but I feel like it should have already have came. You were here for 12 years. You're the biggest selling jersey, the biggest offensive name, the best offensive player they've ever had here. And not a damn thing other than a statement through the agent. And the fact that the agent put out a statement, that's probably all you're going to get. Just didn't seem... It was disingenuous. Couple texts coming in. Nothing he said was untrue, Nick. And this is not a real sports town. Sorry, but facts. I don't like it either. I'll get into that here in a second. Seems obvious to me. He feels the organization values Bowles more than him. If he told Jason it's him or me, I wouldn't be surprised. His frustration was all over his behavior the last few games. I think Todd Bowles is a part of it. I think he absolutely preferred to play with Kyle Shanahan. And which offensive player in the NFL wouldn't prefer to play for Kyle Shanahan? They all would. I doubt it ever came down to it's either me or him, one of us must go. I don't think it ever came down to anything like that. But if I'm Jason Light, and maybe this happened, I don't think it did, but if I'm Jason Light, I'm at least reaching out to my star player knowing it is a contract here, and I'm at least going to get his insight. Hey, what are your thoughts on Todd Bowles? Would you like to move in a different direction? Should we get you an offensive-minded coach? Would you like to change things up here, or do you want to continue to go with Todd? But he should have had some sort of insight on that. I think he should have consulted the decision and been involved. That's what you do with your star players. You let them consult and have an opinion on who you're bringing in here and the decisions you're going to make. And my guess is Mike probably, at least after seeing the way his body language was towards Todd Bowles during the Atlanta game, him walking off the field early, he knew it was over. He knows Todd Bowles is a lame duck coach. So I probably would have consulted him, especially when you could have went and got a guy like a Clint Kubiak, who is coming off winning a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. An offense that's a little bit more exciting. Instead, you're getting him a new offensive coordinator every single year. And with San Francisco, what does he get? Continuity. It's going to be the same guy, whether he's there for 1 year or another 10. He won't be there another 10, but you know what I mean. It'll be the same guy. It's always going to be Kyle Shanahan. One more text. Guess Mike's got a short memory. He wasn't calling us out during the Super Bowl Brady years. Ask him about the boat parade. That's from Greg V. Right? Let's touch back on the first text. Nothing he said is untrue, Nick, and this is not a real sports town. Sorry, but facts, I don't like it either. Here's why people say it's not a real sports town. Because other teams come in and take over the stadium. And I've seen this narrative on social media. If season ticket holders would stop selling their tickets, dude, season ticket holders sell their tickets in every single city. Whether it's Cleveland, Detroit, Philly, Pittsburgh, they sell their season tickets. My wife's family has Lions season tickets. They sell them all the time. You know who buys them? Other Lions fans. You know why? Because Detroit doesn't have nearly as many transplants. There aren't millions of transplants in Detroit. People from Detroit come live here. It's beautiful here. It's paradise. We don't have to shovel snow. We're very lucky to live here. Millions of people come here because it's an awesome place. And so when those northern teams come down and the fans here get one chance a year to go to the game, yeah, they're going to buy up the tickets. They're going to pay a hefty price for it. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Season ticket holders in every single city sell their season tickets. That's what you do. You sell the big games to help pay for the rest of the year. You can't just sit here and go, the season ticket holders should sell them to real fans. One, it's really hard to just do that. And it's also a little bit of a business. And it's just not something you can do here. Now, in San Francisco, people aren't just moving to San Francisco. It's going to be Niners fans. People don't move there because it's dirty. The taxes are crazy expensive. And the cost of living is super expensive. Unless you're going there to work for, Google or whatever other company, all the tech companies, and you're going to make a ton of money. You don't just move there. But people move here from, like I said, I always use the example of the New Yorkers, the people from Boston. They buy those houses back in the 80s and the 70s for $100,000. They're now selling them for $1 million. And then they come down here and buy a home for $500,000 cash. They pocket the other $500,000. And all of a sudden, they go from living in a house in New York on Long Island to a beautiful place here in Tampa Bay. And yeah, they're going to go to the games when the Giants are in town or the Jets or whoever it might be. But I think it's unfair to call the fans not good fans because there's nothing the fans can do here about that. It's like last night at the Lightning game. There's a lot of Detroit Red Wing fans in the building. The Red Wings come here, one time a year? Anybody from Michigan's going to go to the game. And that's going to happen whether it's Boston coming here or the Rangers. There's just nothing you can do. You're telling me you don't think Lightning fans are good fans? Lightning fans have 41 chances to go to a game. When the Flyers come here, and the people from Philly that live here have one opportunity to go to the game, they're going to go. And it drives up the price a little bit. It's just going to happen. I'm really tired of blaming the fans. I don't think it's fair to the fans for living in a place that's not. You think Philly people, you think Eagles fans, they're known as a good fan base. You think Eagles season ticket holders don't sell their tickets? They do. But the thing is, they're getting bought up by other Eagles fans because nobody from Tampa is moving to Philly. So, yeah, Tampa fans aren't going to take over Philly Stadium because there's not enough people from Tampa that move to Philly. But there are a lot of people from Philly that move to Tampa. Or insert other city. They're all here. You could win 17 Super Bowls in a row. Other teams are still going to take over the stadium, and it's not because we're bad fans. It's because we are a transplant. I'm not originally from here. Don't hate me for it. By the way, I will never wear an opposing team's gear in your stadiums. I assure you that. I did go to the game last night. And in fact, I found myself cheering for the Lightning. My buddies, when the Red Wings scored, my buddies all stood. I sat there. I don't cheer against the teams here. They all need to be successful here because I need them to be successful here. The more successful they are, the more successful my show is. I can tell you way more about the Lightning than I can the Red Wings. I don't even think I can name 5 players on the Wings. I do like the Lightning. And I think a lot of people come down here that move here do adopt these teams. They're never going to fully get over their other teams. And for the record, I wore a USF hat last night in a green shirt. I didn't wear any team gear. I typically wear Lightning gear, but I had a credential, and you're not supposed to wear gear, so I just wore a USF hat. I rocked the USF. I feel like USF is safe no matter where I go. But I have lived in New York City. I've lived out in Phoenix. I've lived in Detroit, Jacksonville. This is a really good sports town, in my opinion. I think it is, and I've lived in some really good sports towns. And I wouldn't just say that to you if I didn't think it was. I just think we have a bad reputation, and some of the obstacles aren't necessarily fair. You know, it's like the Texas Rangers. I came on the airwaves during that playoff series. I had your back. ESPN just crapping on us. That was one of the most annoying that broadcast pissed me off more than any other broadcast of watching a game in my life. Hearing them just crap on the Rays fans. We have attendance issues already, and you set us up, with our stadium here in the corner in the peninsula, and he set us up at a 1 o'clock start, a 3 o'clock start, whatever it was, on a Tuesday. You set us up to fail. And then you just crap on us on TV. I think it's a good sports town. And again, I've been around. That boat parade, come on. That was awesome. The fans show up. They just have obstacles here. You drive around town, and the presence of your sports teams in this town, whether it's the Lightning, I think the Rays have gotten better at marketing, or it's the Bucs, the team presence is everywhere. It's not like that in every city. So I disagree with that narrative, but it's a bummer that Mike had to go there. And again, I don't think he was taking a shot, but sure did sound like one. I think he was kind of referencing. I don't think he meant it, to be like I'm going to stick it to Tampa Bay. But we took it that way. All right, phone lines are lighting up. I'm going to get everybody on the air. We're talking Mike Evans right now. The comments that were made yesterday. Got a couple open lines you want to hop on. 888-388-0957. We'll continue this conversation.